Before we zoom out and look at where this leaves the opposition bloc, the India bloc, I want to just take a moment to talk about Kejriwal's own politics. In many ways, he's post ideology. He's not positioning himself ideologically at all. He's that halo of being the anti corruption crusader is gone. He's driving a kind of, as you said, the Labharti scheme driven politics, but he's also careful to borrow from the BJP's book on what is loosely called soft Hindutva. He's announced a scheme, for example, for temple pujaris and so on. How do you see Kejriwal's politics, Yashwant?
Barkha, Kejriwal has learned a solid thing what Rahul Gandhi hasn't learned so far. That
Hmm.
is that Muslims in Delhi are going to vote for Aam Aadmi Party no matter what. If
Hmm.
the minority voters have to vote for an alternative against the BJP, then they will figure out that Aam Aadmi Party is the one which is in the race and likely to win. Winnability factor is more, and they will vote for Arvind Kejriwal. To get the
Hmm.
Muslim voters, Aam Aadmi Party or Arvind Kejriwal doesn't really have to do minority appeasement or be seen as the anti-Hindu party. That is a lesson which has learned very quickly, and he has no problem in either a Pujari or the Granthi scheme or going running an outright huge campaign on Rohingyas.
Hmm.
With something which BJP would have loved to do. So look at this
Correct.
guy who is perfectly trying to pitch in a aggressively Hindutva campaign, yet not losing the Muslim votes. The tracker
Hmm.
clearly shows that barring the few seats in Delhi, Muslims are not deserting Aam Aadmi Party. They are pretty much voting for Aam Aadmi Party. So I think
Hmm.
he has kind of understood this fine point way better than Rahul Gandhi or any other opposition leader to start with. But at
Now
the end of
let's,
the
yeah.
day, yeah, but at the end of the day, it will be it will be coming down to the relative turnout, and that is something which Aam Aadmi Party will have to kind of put in full steam, because they also run an excellent cadre-based organization in Delhi, and it will be cadre of Aam Aadmi Party versus cadre of the BJP RSS thing, which will push up the relative turnout कि किसका turnout ज्यादा होता है. जिसका turnout ज्यादा
Hmm.
हो जाएगा और महिलाओं ने अगर if the female voters actually come out in big number and they maintain their lead for or their preference for AAP and Arvind Kejriwal, then Aam Aadmi Party will be safe and dry. But if it doesn't happen that way, then we might be looking at a really good contest on cards.
Yeah, so how do you explain, before we go to the India bloc, if we just turn back to the results from the last two elections, how do we explain that the BJP hasn't actually lost out on its vote share? In fact, its vote share increased slightly. But the BJP fell from, if I'm remembering this correctly, 32 seats in 2013 to about what is it, three or
Yeah,
eight by the end
three.
of it? Yeah, so
Three. Yeah.
three. So if we can just switch to the slide. So look at the vote share. So that's that's what it is. So it was 3 in 2015, 8 by the last election. So both numbers were correct. But if we go back to the vote share, can we just go back to the vote share slide? Then you see the BJP actually kind of kind of holding on to a strong base. How do we understand these numbers?
Well, BJP's strong base, first of all, if you observe, has gone the cutoff of the BJP from 30 to 33% had gone up to almost like 40% now. So that
Yeah.
denotes the bipolarization of Delhi. And Congress vote share has been continuously dropping, and it's like जो भी कांग्रेस का एंटी बीजेपी है वो आपको शिफ्ट हो जा रहा है, जो भी कांग्रेस का एंटी
Hmm.
आप है वो बीजेपी को शिफ्ट हो रहा है. So it's
Hmm.
a typical way of Congress, the way they lost UP in a big way. Congress core voter in UP used to be Dalit, Brahman, and Musalman. So Dalit went to BSP, upper caste went to BJP, and Muslim went to Sapa, and Congress was left with nothing. So I think that same pattern is being kind of followed here. And by the way, 2013 was the only election when BJP became the single largest. Good
That's
old
right.
doctor actually delivered, even though he was given only about 4 or 5 weeks actually
Yeah.
to run the campaign. So that 2013 leaves a very good blueprint for the BJP, that you can match Aam Aadmi Party and Kejriwal not through a charismatic leadership of sort, but a subdued leadership like Harshvardhan, who can work among the karyakartas and workers, and through the
Yeah.
organizational approach. I think what BJP is trying to do is to replicate 2013 without Harshvardhan, of course, but
Hmm.
just trying to make it an organizational pitch rather than making it a political pitch of sorts.
Yeah. So let's come to the Congress. Not just in Delhi, but there's something larger happening here. Two large, politically still relevant entities of the India bloc, Mamata Banerjee and Akhilesh Yadav, have declared their support for Kejriwal in this election, right? And of course, they don't have their own presence in Delhi, but so it doesn't mean anything except symbolically. But the Congress's own Prithviraj Chavan today is talking about how Kejriwal is going to win. Now, what is happening to the Congress here, the splendid isolation of the Congress? And if we were to juxtapose it with what's happened in Maharashtra, the rumors about Sharad Pawar, will he leave? Is, the praise that Supriya Sule showered and heaped on Devendra Fadnavis. What is going on here?
And by the way, Uddhav Thackeray has declared support for Arvind Kejriwal. So there are three
Correct,
major India. Yeah. So
correct,
Uddhav Thackeray,
correct.
Mamata Banerjee, and Akhilesh. I believe that there is a rebooting of sort, and the rebooting of sort is not just exposing the fact that growth of regional parties is inversely proportional to downfall of, to the growth of Congress in a way. The Congress grows, the regional parties come down, the Congress falls, regional parties grow up. So obviously, they have their own vested interest in keeping the Congress contained of sort. But
Hmm.
I believe, and I genuinely believe, Barkha, that there is something else in terms of narrative and campaigning that is going on here. If you
Hmm.
look into the success of, say, somebody like Akhilesh Yadav during the Lok Sabha elections, you will realize
Yeah.
a very interesting pattern. Akhilesh did not give, barring his four family members, not a single extra Yadav candidate, not a single extra Muslim
Hmm.
candidate, very,
Hmm.
very minimized impact of Muslim plus Yadav candidacy. So he tried aggressively to erase his brand identity of Muslim Yadav leadership. You
Yeah.
know, he did
Yeah.
not go for soft Hindutva, but he tried to contain that thing, whatever could work against him in the larger Hindutva
Hmm.
narrative. I guess Arvind Kejriwal is taking it to the next level.
But he's doing the same, right? Kejriwal's not attacking the Muslim minority. He doesn't have leaders attacking them, but he is aggressively courting the Hindu majority.
Precisely the thing, Barkha, that in India, you do not have to be anti-Muslim to defeat the BJP,
Hmm.
but you shall not seen as anti-Hindu to defeat the BJP. Uh,
Yeah.
So many pro-Muslim leaders have defeated the BJP in so many states. So that is something which, because you asked the question largely about the Congress and the narrative around the
Yeah.
Congress, I believe somewhere ideologically speaking, Congress have to answer this 400-pound gorilla in the room, that their biggest problem right now against the BJP is that their image of being anti-Hindu of sort, which has been the key campaign narrative of the BJP for almost like 2 or 3 decades now, and which has yielded fruit in the last 10 years like anything to them. So
Hmm.
somewhere that kind of rebooting, which other regional opposition leader parties are understanding clearly and they are rebooting, Congress has to reboot somewhere, number one. And
Hmm.
I know many would argue that it's an ideological positioning because still the Congress main campaign is Manusmriti versus Samvidhan Smriti, and those kind of thing. Without realizing that when they do it, although hardly any Hindu follows Manusmriti. And unlike many other, if somebody goes down and burns Manusmriti, Barkha or Yashwant are not going to be upset or
Hmm.
angry about it. It doesn't. We are not like have that kind of stereotypical mentality
Hmm.
in that way. But when you purposefully do it, then many a big number of chunk start looking at Manusmriti that way, that it has something to do with Hindutva identity.
Hmm.
Somewhere, I think just the way BJP could not handle Ambedkar, question of Ambedkar properly, I think Congress is unable to handle Manusmriti properly. And they need to learn. BJP is learning faster than the Congress, I guess. They are good learners in that way. But beyond that, I believe majority of the alliance partners of India alliance are having a basic dynamics contradiction with the growth of Congress. And Congress going to 99, or starting to feel a bit more aggressive in their approach and everything, has kind
Hmm.
of given all these regional players enough room that, okay, this is where the danger lies. If Congress grows beyond a point, then we shall be doomed. And
Yeah.
Haryana, Jammu Kashmir, and Maharashtra have now given them enough room to play that Congress cannot lead this. So obviously, a lot of rebooting has to be done, a lot of self-realization, and reading the 2024 Lok Sabha mandate with the right perspective would help.